So I come over here to chase the sunlight and the sun has left, but it's still bright. So anyway, hello beautiful glam girls, glam fam, everyone, glam everyone, all are welcome. Step right into this madness. Welcome back to my channel. I'm wearing my quarantine outfit on camera because here we are. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Gabriellaglamour, or like the channel says, Gabriellaglamour. Thank you for joining me. So I thought it'd be so much fun to ask you guys your unpopular opinions so that I could react to them and have like a fun conversation and just talk about something. Not the Rona. Not the Rona. Honey, that's why we gotta stay hydrated out here. Okay? We're not playing with you. I asked you guys to send me your unpopular opinions on Instagram. If you're not following me, it's Gabriellaglamour. It will be here throughout the video. Also, if you're not aware, we're in my bedroom. I'm on the bed. I thought it'd be fun to just have like a chill moment. I just redid my bed. I'm like doing a whole apartment makeover, and is the kitchen. Everything else is still a work in progress. The bed, anyway, just keep up with the vlogs for the apartment makeover series. There's 3 videos in the series already, so I'll leave the links or a card to take you to one of the videos, and then you can watch the rest from there. But today's video is something fun and lighthearted as well. So let's go to my Instagram and we're gonna look at your unpopular opinions. I only saw a couple of them just so that I can see that you guys were answering, because I didn't want to film this video with like 3 answers, but we've got a lot of responses. So I'm really excited to dig into these, read them, you know, give my opinion on them, talk about it, and see what happens. The light got dark again. I'm gonna open this window. Oh my god, why didn't I do this to begin with? Also, if you guys are interested in anything I'm wearing, face, makeup, clothes, earrings, anything, I will link as much as I can down below, as well as my water bottle, because I know I'm gonna get questions. I love this water bottle, and it also has the times on it so that it keeps you accountable for drinking water all day. So it goes from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I try to drink like 2 or 3 of these a day. I definitely usually drink at least 2, which I believe 2 of these is a gallon. Anyway, so let's get into your answers. First one is already getting deep. This person says people who hurt you deserve second chances. So this is something that I think for the most part most people would agree to a certain extent. I think for the most part people would say that it just depends on what somebody has done to you. Also, shout out to my city, New York. Tough. We will get through this. I think it depends, of course, on what someone has done to you. You know, obviously if it's something that for you personally kind of pushes you to a point where you can't forgive, then that is where you have to draw your boundary, and it depends on, and like I said, your boundary. Okay, I lowered the lighting because I feel like it was too bright. So I think it just depends on your boundaries, on what you are willing to put up with in your life, as well as your self-esteem, because someone with a high self-esteem who has a high value on themselves is not going to take disrespect lightly. It's not going to take being cheated on lightly, or they're not going to take whatever toxic behavior that causes you to be hurt. They're not going to take it lightly if they have a high sense of self and a high value on themselves. So I think it really depends on what the person does to you. But I think if I had to pick a side, I would more disagree. I think more often than not, people who really hurt you to the point that you had to cut them off, or you had to separate yourself from them, I think mostly they don't deserve a second chance, unless it's like a parent or a family member, someone who you really feel like your life is better with them in it. But for the most part, anyone who really hurts you, like a family member, someone you're dating, anything like that, excuse me, not a family member, a spouse, someone you're dating, a friend, or even a distant family member, I think that when it comes to those kinds of people, if they are showing you a blatant disrespect and a blatant lack of respect for your boundaries and for your heart, then they probably are just like a crappy person. So if I had to pick a side, I would say disagree. Don't give them a second chance. They're probably gonna do it again. Second person says Fashion Nova and Rainbow have the same vendor. So this is, I wouldn't say agree or disagree. For me, I think if you know about fast fashion, if you know about fashion in general, if you know about retail, then you know that a lot of fast fashion brands do, you know, the bulk of their orders do come from a lot of the same manufacturers, because I think a lot of people think, oh, if you have a clothing line or if you're shopping from a store, they make their own clothes, and that's not how it works at all. A lot of fast fashion retailers do not make their own clothes. They're buying from manufacturers in China, in Vietnam, in India, and stuff like that. So that's why you will see an overlap. And the same goes for H&M, Zara, all types of like higher stores, Old Navy, Gap, Banana Republic, even, you know, other places. If you're not buying from a designer that's making a certain amount and putting it in a department store, or, you know, a designer like a high-end designer that's only making a really small amount and you can only get it at their boutiques or whatever the case is, then for the most part you're buying clothes that is manufactured and is being sold to multiple fast fashion retailers. So I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, that's just how it works. But yes, sometimes you will see that overlap. The next unpopular opinion is, why do big girls still feel the need to Photoshop to look thinner? We all know you big. So this one's funny to me because it's like, do you ask Beyonce why she photoshops her photos? We all know she's pretty. We all know she's skinny. We all know she's almost 40, but she still Photoshop her pictures. When Beyonce stops photoshopping her photos, then you can come to everyone else and ask us the same question, okay? Next unpopular opinion is that silver jewelry is slept on. So I don't know if this is unpopular, because I think a lot of people like silver jewelry. I don't know why I can't say it. My allergies have me messed up, and my sinuses, the way I'm talking, everything's all messed up. My New York accent might pop out a lot in this video, just because when I'm like lazy and my sinuses are acting up, I just kind of I don't put the filter of like thinking about not having my accent, which came from like school and stuff. Anyway, I think silver jewelry has its fan base. I don't think that it's slept on. I think that a lot of people prefer warmer tones because it makes you look warmer, and people who are more fair skinned will probably like silver more because it complements their skin tone more. So I think it has to do also with that. Because it just, for me personally, like as someone who is a tan skin Latina, more olive, you know, warmer skin tone, gold just like, you know, looks better on my skin tone. Like silver just doesn't look that cute on me, which is why I prefer it. So I don't think it's slept on. I just think it's preference and like your skin tone. I don't know, what do you guys think? Someone said Little Caesars Pizza uses the meat truck from Walmart. Hashtag Tiger King. I don't eat from Little Caesars or Walmart, so I don't know, but that's hilarious. Oh, this one got me tight. It's another food one. It says no sugar does not go in spaghetti. Yes it does, sweetheart. Yes it does. A little bit of sugar in your spaghetti sauce, bellissima, absolutely delicioso. Okay, a little sugar in your pasta, delicious. Try it. If you haven't, you're missing out. You definitely should be putting sugar in your pasta sauce. You're bugging out. You're bugging. Don't talk to me. Music these days is trash. Artists don't talk about anything relevant. So I think this is something that I used to say a lot when I was younger, and I definitely think that, you know, with time, music has lost some of its depth. I won't disagree with that. You know, I for one am not a fan of most popular artists because of that. I listen to more underground bands or like random underground singers, people who aren't quite famous. Like I used to listen to Billie Eilish in 2016, 2017, like way before she was ever as big as she is now, and that was more my vibe then. Now that she's super mainstream, I'm not into it anymore. The Aquarius in me that always has to go against the grain. But yeah, I listen to bands that nobody's ever heard of, and I listen to a lot of music that no one knows about because it's good. So it's not that the music doesn't exist, it's just that it's not on the radio. So the music that's on the radio sometimes lacks depth, sometimes lacks that meatiness from the lyrics, and even the music itself, the production can be quite bland because they're trying to just replicate the hits that are already popular. So yeah, I agree to a certain extent. I also think it's up to you to buy the music that you like, to support the artists that you like, to listen to the music that you like. Go out of your way to find music that speaks to you, because for a long time I was listening to the same music for years because I felt the same way, like, oh, music is trash now, blah blah blah. You know, I'm not a Drake fan, I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan, I'm not a Migos fan, I'm not a Cardi B fan, I'm not a Megan Thee Stallion fan, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, I'm not a Katy Perry fan. I think the most mainstream artist I like is probably like The Weeknd. And for me, I feel like he still has maintained like his underground vibe because it's naturally just who he is. Mind you, his birthday's the day after mine, so I feel like we have like this Aquarius bond, which is why I love him so much. Yeah, so I think it's just up to you to find the music that you like. So I am like hot and cold with my response to that. Speaking of, this next person says, I hate Taylor Swift and anything she and I think anything she comes out with is just ... white noise, literally. Ooh, she threw shade and fire, honey. Also not a Taylor Swift fan. For my wedding, when we met with the DJ, we actually explicitly wrote in our wedding planner that we did not want any Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran. Don't like it, not a fan. I do not want to hear like, I met my boyfriend in the coffee shop and he said I was pretty and then he broke my heart and he's with the cheerleader and I'm just a girl with the t-shirt on. Oh my god, I'm so uncool, but I love him. No, I don't want to hear any of it. I am not 12 years old. Turn it off. Yeah, not my vibe. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. She is the worst. Someone said ketchup is gross. Nah, fam, you bugging. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I agree with you. So I actually don't really like ketchup unless it's like a little bit with my fries or like a little bit on a burger. To be honest with you guys, I only eat I don't eat red meat, so I don't eat burgers. When I make turkey burgers or salmon burgers, I make like an aioli sauce. So I'm not eating like ketchup and mustard on my burgers. That's not my vibe. I like mustard or ketchup on like corn dogs more than burgers. I'm not like a burger type of girl. I prefer like an aioli, like more of a bougie burger. A little apple slice here, a little Gruyere cheese, you know, radishes, like, you know, just I prefer a bougie burger, the New Yorker in me, forgive me. So I don't really use ketchup. Like I said, I use ketchup more when I make aiolis or maybe like a homemade sweet and sour sauce, which is not very often, or like mayo ketchup, you know, for the Puerto Ricans, we know mayo ketchup. For my Caribbean Latinos, mayo ketchup for the win. But as far as like, I hate when people put ketchup on eggs. That shit is so disgusting. I hate when people put ketchup on sandwiches that don't need ketchup. When people put ketchup on rice. Nasty. So you know what? I agree with you. Ketchup is gross. And even when I have it with french fries, I don't like, first of all, I'm not the person that's putting the ketchup like all over the french fries. That's nasty. I put a little squirt of it on my plate and I dip the fry just a little bit. I like a little taste, but I actually prefer salty fries alone with no sauce. So I'm gonna agree with you. Ketchup is gross. Next person says, quarantine feels like freedom being ripped away and we are allowing it. Sis, we have to do better. Someone said Friends is hyped up for no reason. Nah, Friends is my favorite show of all time. You're not about to sit here and say all that. You're not about to sit here and say all that. Nah, we fighting. And I know a lot of people of color, especially, Friends is the shit. It was my favorite show growing up. It's my favorite show to this day. Friends is hilarious. It's the sweet, funny, relatable to a certain extent simple, heartwarming, fun show that we all need. I think that if you're looking at it through the lens of someone who's grown up in this day and age where TV has taken on a form of more like realistic, more drama, more chilling, more deep, then you might feel that way. But for the time, at the time when these kind of comedy shows and these kind of, I can't think of the word, when that type of show was popular, that was the height of it and that was the best of it. And I think, you know, 20 years later people are going to start thinking differently because now you're talking about a new generation. But at the time, and those of us who grew up 90s kids, 80s, 90s kids, Friends is everything. Someone said, I don't know what to do, my boyfriend's roommate is a psycho. That's not an unpopular opinion, sis. Someone said the Shade Room is toxic AF, as well as all those similar blog sites. Ooh, you ain't never lied, sis. You ain't never lied. I cannot for the life of me. Okay, so I don't remember exactly what part of the video I was on. I had to change my SD card because I ran out of space because I talked too much, as usual. Oh, okay, I remember now. So this person said the Shade Room is toxic AF. All those blog sites are. So I have to agree. And it really sucks that, like, as people of color, like, that's what we have to look for, like, I guess popular culture in a way. But I just feel like they're so, like this person said, they're toxic and everything is like spilling the tea and sharing things about people that, you know, are private. And also, like, the comments be so terrible. Like, you guys know with Fashion Nova, I've been posted on the Shade Room before and stuff like that, and I never even took the time to, like, read comments, just because it can be so toxic. Like, I can't even imagine how bad it must be now. But it's, yeah, I have to agree with this person. It is very toxic. It's negative. I don't even know why you would want to follow that, because I'm a big believer in what you see and what you take in and what you listen to and all that kind of stuff. It really does affect you as a person. How can it not? It's psychologically putting things in your mind and it's filling you up, and it's gonna be what you put out into the world in return. So you have to really be careful, because surrounding yourself with that kind of negative energy is just what's gonna become what you put out into the world, and what it's gonna shape how you think of things, how you respond to things, and it's just so negative. So I have to agree, they're so toxic. I could never have that on my feed all day and just hearing negative thing after negative thing. Someone said, I don't care for Drake's music. I agree. I don't care either. I think I've only liked maybe 3 of his songs that I actually listened to, like the Going Home one, Going Home, that one. That one's nice. And then Marvin's Room I liked, but I preferred JoJo's version, which if you haven't heard it, YouTube it. I prefer hers a lot more. And there was also Take Care. What was the other one? Something Energy. Maybe there was like a couple with like Lil Wayne and stuff like that I liked, but it's because, you know, because Lil Wayne. But overall, as an artist, Drake is not my kind of artist. Like, I'm not here for him. I'm not here for the whining, the complaining, the faux good guy manipulative lyrics. Like, I just don't have time for the F-boy stuff. I really don't. So yeah, I agree with you, girl. I ain't got time for Drake either. And she also said, I don't like tattoos. Guys, I'm gonna have to agree with her on this one either. I don't like tattoos. I just can't imagine wanting to put something that looks dirty on my body. And I hope that, I hope that doesn't offend anyone, because it's not like I'm saying that you're dirty, but for me personally, I would feel dirty having something on me. I think I just have that kind of like complex where I like things organized and clean and like plain in a sense, and the idea of something being on my body that I can't take off like gives me anxiety. So for me, that's why it looks dirty. Just for me personally, they would make me feel dirty, and I also don't think that there's anything amazing enough in this world that I would want to put on my body permanently. And I know people will say, but you can get them removed. The average person is not having a tattoo removal. It's very expensive, and it is a very difficult, hard, complicated, long, painful process, Susan. So no, the average person is not getting a tattoo removed. And if you are thinking, if you're getting a tattoo with the idea that, oh, I can just get this removed, this is not something you should put on your body, because that means you don't really want it on your body till you die. I don't want a stretched out heart on my ass until I die. I don't. And you know what? If you want to say also, it's because you're fat, and if you put it on yourself, you know it's gonna look bad because you're fat. Look at Tess Holiday. She's covered in tattoos and they look beautiful. She's bigger than me in some places, so it looks good on her. I just don't want them on me, and I don't think there's anything that I would put on my body that would be meaningful enough to have forever. I think the only thing I would ever do is maybe like a couple's tattoo, but not like our names or anything. Maybe a little symbol like on our wedding finger. Maybe I would get like a little A for his. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. No, I'm not getting a tattoo. It's not happening ever in my life. If I was gonna do it, I would have done it already. I'm old enough that I would have done it already. So no, I agree with you, girl. I don't like tattoos either. My husband doesn't have any tattoos either. He doesn't like them. Oh, someone said unpopular opinion. Sometimes the villain wins. Yes, sis, tell them. You know, growing up, we're told all the time that good outweighs evil. Good always defeats evil. That's not true. In life, sometimes the bad guy wins. In life, bad things happen. I mean, people are murdered all the time by the villain. People are hurt all the time by the bad guy. Life is not a movie where, you know, some random cop comes and saves the day, or like, you know, the guy you like comes in, saves you from the bad guy, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not real life. Like, sometimes the villain wins, and sometimes the person that you might think is the villain is actually the hero in their story. Maybe they're the villain in your story, but to them they're the hero. And it's rough, but life is unfair, and sometimes the villain wins. So I definitely agree with that. And I don't agree, and I don't think that it's all bad. I think sometimes the villain should win. I'm sorry, don't kill me. Another unpopular opinion, I've never watched Friends. You're missing out. Your life is sad. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. P.S. I Love You is an awful film. Which one is P.S. I Love You? Well, I guess that settles it. I don't think the Kardashians are bad people. I agree with you. They're not bad people. I don't think I would say I'm like a huge Kardashian like stan or fan or like obsessed kind of person. I'm not a Kardashian like, I don't know, like I wouldn't say I'm a Kardashian fan. I like some. So I wouldn't consider myself like a huge Kardashian fan, but I do like some of their projects. I do. I'm a fan of some of their stuff. So like I'm a fan of Kylie Cosmetics. I'm a fan of Kylie Skin. I'm a fan of Kim's makeup collection. You know, not every product, but some products. I'm a fan of her perfume collection. I'm actually pretty much, I think I'm gonna buy her new collection with her mom, the perfume that comes out on the 15th with her mom. I might buy one for me and then buy one for my mom as like a Mother's Day gift, like an early Mother's Day gift, because I love the little statue of like the mom holding her daughter, and just like it looks like a beautiful marble statue, or like a limestone that you would find at you know, at the Met or at the Louvre. Anyway, but I am a fan of their projects. I'm a fan of their work ethic, and I think that anyone who doesn't respect what they've done and how much they've accomplished is just a flat-out hater, because you cannot sit there and not respect the hustle of what they've accomplished and what Kim has accomplished and everything. So I guess maybe if you were more on the like Jenner side, you could say, well, they were born with money and blah blah blah. Yes, you could make that argument, but I think for as far as like Kim and the Kardashians themselves, you cannot take away what they've accomplished. So and I don't think they're bad people fundamentally. It seems like as a family they have a strong bond. They have a love for each other that has not been torn apart or affected by social media, by fame, as other families are. I mean, people who are married, people who are in families that go on reality shows, within a couple years they're divorced and their life is ruined. This is a family who has been on TV for so many years, has been famous for so many years, and has maintained a bond and a closeness through all the shit that they've been through. So if you can't respect that, to me, it's really at the core of it, it's jealousy. Because even if you don't like them, you have to respect the hustle. If you don't, you're just a hater. I'm sorry. And I don't think they're bad people. I think they have a good heart. I think Robert Kardashian seemed like he was a good guy. And you know, if you watch like the documentaries about him and the stuff pertaining to the OJ trial and everything, it seems like it really ate him alive, going through that situation with OJ, and kind of the realization that the guy that he was friends with for so many years was not the guy that he thought he knew. You know what I'm saying? Like the person who he really was. And I think that, you know, they say like him getting that cancer, it like ate him from the inside out because of his guilt and stuff. And you know, obviously I didn't know him personally, but I just don't think that him or Chris are bad people. But you know, people will make anyone the villain. back to the other thing, people will make them the villain because they want to be the hero. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna end it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, if I should do this again. Leave your unpopular opinions in the comments if you guys want me to do a part 2 reacting to your unpopular opinions. And yeah, I think this is so much fun. It's a fun way to get to know each other, have conversations that you normally wouldn't have, and talk about a variety of things without having to do like a boring Q&A or something. Even though I like Q&As too, I think I'm actually about to film a Q&A, so I take that back. Anyway, I love you guys. Stay glam, and I'll see you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All my social medias are down below. And of course, don't forget to check out my ebooks and guides if you guys want some information on how I edit my Instagram pictures and things like that. I have an ebook all about it. It's only 10 bucks. Link will be down below. I love you guys.